answered the phone, and it was Bud Cummings. And Bud Cummings said, "May I speak to Claude?" And Alice said, "If you know how to speak to the dead, you're perfectly welcome to." And he said, "No, I meant Malk. So then I called, when I got off the roof, I called Bud back. And I said, "Bud, were you wanting to speak to Claude?" And he said, "No, that was a mistake." But that was not a mistake. Bud was right in the first place. He did want to speak to Claude. He wanted to speak to all of his friends that he had known who had passed along the way. He wasn't thinking only of those veterans who died on the battlefield. He was thinking of all of them. And so he was right. He did want to speak to Claude. He wanted to speak to whom I call Buddy Frederick. His son here calls his dad Pierce. Well, I don't know what he called his dad when Buddy was here, but all of the rest of them. And I just went to visit Paul Frederick in his little nursing home on the way here this morning. And Memorial Day is for all of these. It was devised originally for those members, those of the armed services who died in the line of battle, who died on the field of battle. But it has grown and is intended to be for everybody, and I wish to make it for everybody. Memorial Day started as Decoration Day, maybe in 1866. And I say maybe because there are numerous communities around the nation: Columbus, Mississippi, Waterloo, New York, Carbondale, Illinois, Macon, Georgia. All of them began taking flowers and putting them on the graves of their departed members who fought in the Civil War and who died in the Civil War. And then Decoration Day grew, and finally it became Memorial Day. And Memorial Day was eventually, in 1971, officially declared by Congress to be the last Monday of May of each year. And since that time, we have called it Memorial Day, and we come to memorialize all of our departed. And we think of it as being, I'm sure that many of us do, not just for veterans especially, but not only for veterans, but all of those that we want to memorize, to memorialize, to remember. And it's a good time to do it. When Bud asked me if I could come and speak, I thought very quickly of a poem that was written by an Army Lieutenant Colonel, John McRae, when he witnessed his close friend, Alexis Helmer, die on the battlefield in Belgium in World War II. And I thought of this poem that many of us learned when we were in school. And I hope that our school children today are at least introduced to this poem. I'd like to offer you just a few excerpts, not the whole poem, but some excerpts from In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. The torch, be it yours to hold it high. If we break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field. And of course that's what we are all here for today, is to keep the faith and to hold the torch high. And I know that there are many here today who have already, and if not already, will sometime today go to either this cemetery or another to place flowers and a flag to memorialize some of our own departed, or those who simply were veterans and have departed. And that is a proper thing to do. Now, some of you may have read an article in the Mobile Register saying that I said, the reporter Douglas Coker said that I said this should be a joyful day. He was right. I did say that. I do say that. This should be a joyful day because we should memorize all of those that we want to remember, but we should also be joyful for what they gave us, what we gained from those who have passed on, what they provided for us, because they provided for us extremely well. They gave us a free nation. They gave us the right to be free and happy, and I hope that we will continue to do that. Now, if we, after this event, if we want to, we're free to drive to Gulf Shores or Orange Beach or wherever else in this nation that we want to go and do what we want to do and to be happy because of those who have gone before and have given us and maintained our free nation. Today is the day we put aside for fallen heroes. And to pray that no heroes will ever have to die for us again is something that the President Ronald Reagan touched on his Memorial Day address at Arlington Cemetery in Virginia back in 1986. And he said it's a day to remember the splendor of America and those who rest in this cemetery and others. And we can say the same here. President Reagan continued, I was thinking this morning that across the country, children and their parents will be going to the town parade, and the young ones will sit on the sidewalks and wave their flags as the band goes by. Later, maybe they'll have a cookout or a day at the beach, and that's good, because today is a day to be with family and to remember. Unfortunately, the president's wish that no more heroes would die has not gone. It's still happening today in Afghanistan, in Iraq. It happened in New York and the Pentagon and in Pennsylvania. It happened even in San Antonio, Texas, that some of our heroes had to die to maintain our freedom. And all of these have died so that we can also be happy. And so I say, yes, this should be a joyful day. And I also say, please, as we think of whom we are remembering and whom we are honoring and whom we are memorializing, remember those who are doing it today. The Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, National Guard, the reserves. Those young people who are doing that today are all voluntarily serving to keep our country free. And they are doing an outstanding job. So I say, thank them, and may God bless them, and may God bless you, one and all. I thank you.
If anybody has any comments